Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 78, texts 37 through 40. I guess we'll do just this purport, or just this in Sanskrit, or then should we do 37 through 40 in Nanda Bihari? Oh my God, he's driving. He's doing a reverse. I'm not asking him any questions. I'm just going with it. Kim vakamo muna shrestha brutam karvanyan ata ajantastva apachittam yata me chintayatam buddha. Kim, what, va, your, kama, desire, muni, of sages, shrestha, best, bruta, please say, aham, I, karavani, shall do it, ata, and then, anjanata, who does not know, to, indeed, apachitam, the atonement, yata, properly, me, for me, chintyatam, please think of, buddha, O intelligent ones. Translation: please tell me your desires, O best of sages, and I shall certainly fulfill it. This is Lord Balaram speaking. And, O wise souls, please carefully determine my proper atonement, since I do not know what it might be. Purport: Lord Balaram here sets a perfect example for people in general by humbly submitting himself before the qualified Brahmins. Text 38. The sages said, a fearsome demon named Balvala, the son of Ilvala, comes here every new moon day and contaminates our sacrifice. Purport: first the sages tell Lord Balaram the favor they would like for him to do for them. Text 39. O descendant of Dashara, please kill that sinful demon who pours down pus, blood, feces, urine, wine, and meat upon us. This is the best service you can do for us. And finally, text 40. Thereafter, for 12 months, you should circumambulate the land of Bart in a mood of serious meditation, executing austerities, bathing at various holy pilgrimage sites. In this way, you will become purified. Purport: Srila Jiva Goswami points out the word Vishuddhasi means that Lord Balaram would achieve spotless fame by setting such a perfect example for the people in general. Srila Prabhupada writes, the Brahmins could understand the purpose of the Lord, and thus they suggested that he atone in a manner which would be beneficial to them. And we've concluded the chapter of the 78th chapter. So let me go back to text number 37 through 40. Please tell me your desire, O best of the sages, I shall certainly fulfill it. And, O wise souls, please carefully determine my proper atonement, since I do not know what it might be. Then the sages tell Balaram, well, there are some demons that are coming here on the new moon days, and they contaminate our sacrifice. Kill those demons and go on pilgrimage. And then set the example for everyone. So, Omaganya Timidandasya, Ginanjanan Chalakaya, Chakshu Unmilitam Mena, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam, Stapitam Yena Bhutale, Svayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapatantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shriuta Parakamalam, Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha, Shri Rupam Sagarajatam, Sahagana Raghunatpitam Tam Sajivam, Sadvetam Savadutam, Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishaka Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapte Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Prishabhanu Sute Devi Prananami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhastya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Nama Om Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutare Shrimate Radha Swami Nityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Pastita Deshutarine Pastita Desh, this Western world. Please beg the blessings of all the devotees that we can speak something relevant in line with Guru Parampara, and that is pleasing to their lordship, Shri Radha Muradhar, Shri Gaur Chandra, Shri Nishingadev Bhagavan, and all the devotees. This is an interesting part of the Bhagavatam, as you've all been discussing. Balaram shows up and is not welcomed properly by one of many different people, and he detects that. And I thought it was interesting that that what happened with Romaharshan is that he detected that he didn't even do this. You know, sometimes in the temple when you're chanting japa, devotees come in, and you'll see some devotees come in, the heads hit the ground, they're chanting their japa, the heads hit the ground, they'll bow down, they'll do a whole thing. Sometimes we try to ignore that anybody even just entered the space, but we know that they've entered the space. And sometimes you'll see devotees, they'll do the little, head bow, something like that. And the fact that he didn't do anything like that, especially when a great personality comes in, I've done this before, and it's very offensive. Luckily, this is Kali Yuga, and it was a wonderful associate of Lord Chaitanya. So actually, he could understand that I was the least qualified. His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, when I came in, everybody bowed to him except for me, and he took me to lunch. So welcome to Kali Yuga. He didn't take, different age, he would have taken something and chopped off my head, or did something very, made a grave offense, but actually takes me to lunch. Because he could recognize the massive amount of envy that was in the heart. And in this day and age, our job is not to condemn someone for that. Our job is to help them. And a perfect example of that was his compassion upon me. And so I think about it very regularly, because this is our job in this day and age. Now Balaram, this is great. These are the stories that you can relish. I don't know if you all know. Some of you, I'm sure, follow, different things. I'm going to get a smile out of Nanda Bihari on this one. There was a big fight last weekend in Madison Square Garden. I don't know if you all saw that. There was a big fight, heavyweight championship, mixed martial arts championship. And my God, they built that thing up. Oh, there was even a bigger fight too. There was Iron Mike Tyson against this guy, Jake Paul. They're fighting. And then there was this other guy. If Beema's on, he knows all these things. This guy, John Jones, heavyweight championship. They're fighting in Madison Square Garden, packed the place, $17 million, gate and attendance, just a powerful thing. And people are going on, they're pontificating about these things. day after day, week after week, and continue to pontificate upon these things. I was in the airport yesterday. It was about 9:30 in the morning. And I guess yesterday was Monday. And there was football games that were played on Sunday. And it's 9:30 in the morning on Monday. And I looked over as I was walking by the bar, and they've got a whole cast of people that they're discussing, and it said, they used the word pundits. It said pundits, pundit, whoever these people were, and they were talking about the football games, and they were all in on it. You could just hear the enthusiasm that was there. And when we get to these pastimes, in the Bhagavatam, this is as good as it gets, because I was thinking about how much fighting was going on in these specific pastimes. They're just totally ecstatic if you're into anything like that. Taking a piece of grass, killing somebody with it, it's incredible. How'd Balaram do that? I mean, these are the real heavyweight champs here. I don't know if you all saw this. This is our friend Chadaratma from Alachua. He put a poster up the other day that I thought was fantastic. Let me bring this up for you. Let's see. Let's take a look. Look at this poster. This is the real deal right here. We got a big wrestling match coming up. This is the real heavyweight championship. You got the Thunderbolt Sri Krishna against Muscle Mountain Chanara. And then another action, there's going to be Mighty Arm Balaram versus the Marauder Mustika. And I thought it was a sweet little reminder of where's the origin of all this enthusiasm coming from. And here it is. Here's Krishna, here's Balaram. And they're going to do their fighting. But it all stems from, this pastime specifically, it all stems from this idea of envy. And envy is very, very subtle. It's very, very, and it can be very, very gross. I know His Grace Arjun Prabhu, I think I can see in the back there, has always said, whenever I ask him, well, where did this come from? He usually points out, it's just envy. It's just envy. I was riding the city bike the other day, and I saw this. If you've ever ridden a city bike, you have to scan the code, which is down here. If you can see that, you get to scan the code, it's down here. And I thought this is a classic envy case, because this is one of those e-bikes, and you go to scan it and then you can't actually scan it because somebody crossed it out. So normally what happens when that happens is it says on your phone, well, then just type in the number of the bike. And the number of the bike is on the top of this screen. And look at what somebody did there. They crossed that out too. And this was a hard one to read. 464, what is it? 741. It was very difficult to read. I had to guess a few times just to get it going. And this is envy. If you can't have it. You're not allowed. You don't have access to it. And I thought again back to His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami, who sees somebody who's standing up, not even bowing down when they go by. And not only does he could have said, you don't have access to this. You don't have access to this holy name. You don't have access to these truths. You don't have access, oh, envious and proud one. And he does the opposite. He says, actually, I'm going to give you access here, because we're all fallen. We all have envy. We all have these deep things into the heart. And what is the antidote to this envy? Now, does Lord Balaram have envy? No, he doesn't have envy. He's teaching, he's giving an example. But there is an antidote to cleansing that envy, and that's submitting ourselves to the Brahmins. And that's exactly what he does. He goes and he submits himself to the Brahmins, and then they give him a direction to do. Because when we have all this envy and this materialistic thought, we think that we're in the center, we're in control. And if we're in the center and we're in control, then we know how to direct ourselves. We know how to direct our lives. But our approach actually is different than that. We don't know how to control and direct our lives. So then what do? We submit ourselves to those who are free from that envy, who are free from the selfish motives. And then when we submit ourselves to the Brahmins, then they give us actual proper direction. So Lord Balaram sets the example. He says, "Oh yeah, it looks like I had envy. I killed a Brahmin. He did something wrong. So now what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to listen to the Brahmins humbly, submissively, and I'm going to take their direction." And that's what they do, because otherwise, if we're still in control, or if we still feel ourselves in control, then we get ourselves in that position of, like what Prahlad Maharaj was saying in the 7th canto, where he says we through our material intelligence, we start making up material solutions to our problems. Through our limited and faulty senses, we start to think, well, I'm going to make some temporary happiness, and actually I'm just going to screw it up. I'm going to implicate myself more and more. I was reading one of those verses that Prabhupada wrote. He actually spoke this in in a lecture. He says the words. So Prahlad in 7th canto, 9th chapter, text 43. I'll read that first, and then I'll read what Prabhupada said in his lecture. He says, "My dear Prahlad," or sorry, "My dear Lord," this is Prahlad speaking to Lord Nrsingadev. He says, "I'm not very anxious for my own deliverance." And then Prabhupada says, "At this point, we may contrast this attitude with the Mayavadi philosophers, who are careful that their salvation is interrupted. They think, if I go preach in association with others, I may fall down, and my realization will be finished." So in the same way, we become contaminated, and therefore we can't go and be contaminated. And Prabhupada's speaking this. He's coming here to New York City. My God, my heartiest dandavats to all of you who, day after day are in the city and contaminated by the tamas and the heavy rajas and all of that type of stuff, but actually above that, by giving service, by giving the holy name. So Prabhupada says the Mayavadis therefore don't come forward to preach. Only the Vaishnavas come, even at the risk of fall down. But Prabhupada says they do not fall down. A Vaishnav is even willing to go to hell to deliver conditioned souls. This is also Prahlad Maharaj's mission. He went on to say, "I'm not very anxious about living in this material world. I have no anxiety for myself, because somehow or other, I've been trained to be Krishna conscious always." Because Prahlad was Krishna conscious, he was confident that in his next life, he was going to go to Krishna. It is stated in the Gita that if one executes the regulative principles of Krishna conscious carefully, it is certain he will reach the supreme destination in his next life. So Prahlad Maharaj continues, "There's only one source of anxiety for me. I'm anxious that those who are not Krishna conscious, for those who are not Krishna conscious. I myself, I have no anxiety, but I'm thinking of them." And why aren't people Krishna consciousness, in Krishna conscious? Prabhupada says, the rascals have created, and this is my favorite word, a humbug civilization for temporary happiness. Prabhupada says it's a fact. We've succeeded in creating a humbug civilization. Every year, so many cars are being manufactured, and for that purpose, we have many roads to be excavated, prepared, and repaired. I mean, that is the eternal Leela of New York. And especially by the Bhakti Center, what is that? Houston Street, and First Avenue, it's every year practically. It gets ripped up, destroyed, laid down, ripped up, destroyed, laid down. And we've succeeded in only creating other problems by trying to manufacture some way to be happy. Prabhupada finally, I'll close here. He says, the United States has the world's largest number of cars, but that does not solve any problems. So then we have to manufacture cars to solve the problems of life. But we often experience this will create other problems. So this is situations called Maya Shukala. Sukha. Maya means false or illusionary, we try to create a very comfortable situation, but we only succeed in creating another uncomfortable situation. And this is the way of the material world. So then what is the antidote to that? The antidote to the envy, the antidote to creating these material problems using our material intelligence? It's submission to the Brahmins, submission to the sages, submission to those who are Krishna conscious. And there's a similar story of these demons coming to disturb the yagyas that's in the Ramayana. And it's the same thing with these demons that are coming to disturb. They're envious. This demon's doing the same thing. It's very interesting. It's like as soon as the purity of the atmosphere is there, the sacrifice is going to be complete, and then they contaminate it. And it's just like scratching out the number on that city bike. It's like, you can't have it. You can't have it. You can't have the benefits of doing something pure. You can't have that because I have envy in my heart. And so therefore I'm going to give that to you. And so Marichi and Subahu are the same, very similar to what these sages were encountering in the Ramayana. And Vishwamitra shows up to Dasarath and he says, I need your son Ram to come and take care of these demons because they're doing the exact same thing. And obviously Dasarath is absolutely attached to his son, and he breaks down immediately because he's thinking, well, he's too young, B, he's got the fatherly attachment. He maybe get hurt. He may get, how could we possibly do that? Take him away. And Vishwamitra gets angry and eventually ends up taking Ram, and then he takes him away and he takes him to prepare him to take care of this Marichi and Subahu, who are sons of Tatika. And Lord Ram is, again, he's feeling these same feelings that Balaram is having here, where he's got to do something, but it's for the benefit of the society. And so then we follow these great souls. So like Lord Ram and Balaram, and we see, what do? Well, both of them humbly submitted to a Brahmin. Both of them humbly submitted to, one is Vishwamitra, and Balaram is submitting to these Brahmins here, and they're taking their advice and they're following in their footsteps, and they're doing what they say will be nice. So they follow them, and then switching back to this story, Balaram, they say, here's what you need to do. You need to atone for killing, and I need you to go on pilgrimage. And I need you to go on pilgrimage for an entire year. Now, has anybody been on pilgrimage for a year? Has anybody taken a whole year to go on pilgrimage? Some feel like they're still on pilgrimage, I guess. It's a long time to go on pilgrimage. Nowadays we do the 2-week pilgrimages, or we do the 3-week pilgrimages, or 4-week pilgrimages. But the injunction is, I want you to go on pilgrimage for an extended period of time, and I want you to go to these holy places, and I want you to take a bath in these different places. But how did Srila Prabhupada train us to go on pilgrimage? He didn't say just go there and be in that atmosphere and take baths. He said go there and hear from Brahmins. Go and hear, because in these holy places, that's where the Brahmins are. Go and hear from the sages. Go somewhere, sit at their feet, and allow that auditory potency to purify the heart, because we know that is the means, and that's the method in this day and age of Kali Yuga, to be purified through the sound vibration. So Lord Balaram sets the example by going on pilgrimage, and he goes on pilgrimage in many different places, and that's also a wonderful story. So New York City is a place of pilgrimage, actually. And you can come to New York City and you can have an incredibly materialistic experience if you want to associate with people who have material vision. Or you can come to New York City on pilgrimage, and you can go to Tompkins Square Park. You can serve out with Adi. You can go to Tompkins Square Park and lay your head on the tree and remember Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. You can come to New York City and you can come to the Bhakti Center and take darshan of Radha Muralidhar, or you can come to New York City and you can meet some of the sages that are sitting there even right now on the third floor, who are dedicated themselves and dedicated their lives to this wonderful mission, and hear from them. And as you do that, then you become purified. And it's so potent to be there, especially at, I mean, this is my experience, especially at the Bhakti Center. Srila Prabhupada's grace is very, very potent and powerful in New York City. You know, he's still walking the streets and bestowing that causeless mercy of even those like myself who are full of envy and full of pride and full of you know, those lower qualities, and is saying, please take it, please take this good stuff. This is what we have, and it's all here in the holy name, and it's all here in trying to serve this wonderful mission. I'll close with, you know, his pranam mantra of Pastita Deshatarine, in these Western countries which are filled with voidism and impersonalism. You know, I've come here for that. So it's very easy to remember Srila Prabhupada's mission when you're in New York City. You can see the voidism, you can see the impersonalism, you can see the humbug civilization, and you can just remember, now give it away. Absolutely, give it away. Whatever you've got, whatever you've learned, whatever you've picked up, give it away. And now we're distributing grace. Now we're being able to share. And guess what? Everybody, including ourselves, has plenty of envy. Overlook that. Overlook those qualities and give it away, because the hearts are bleeding and they're needing to be filled up. So I'm going to stop there because I have to end right at 8 o'clock, believe it or not, in Greenpoint, Brooklyn, right where Radha Muralidhar was brought for the first time, which has now become like kind of like a beautiful place. We're about to do a Bhagavad Gita class at 8 o'clock right here. So it continues to flow. So I'll open it up for any questions, thoughts, reflections. I see Shik has got his hand raised. Shik, please. I wish I could hear you. I don't think, can anybody hear him? No.
No.
Shikshashtakam Prabhu.
Not now.
Or Shik, affectionately Shik. Full name Shikshashtakam.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Shastakam Prabhu, Hari Bol, welcome.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for, I especially appreciate your talking about how we have to hear from devotees. I've been kind of up and down, you know, my life is like turned around several times in the past, you know, month or so. And I just come back to that, you know, I'm not the doer. I have to follow Krishna. And so I remember hearing or reading past time, what you were saying about throwing it all away and then just listening to the sages. I remember reading a book by a Jewish gentleman who was in a concentration camp in World War II. And he actually met Bhaktisiddhanta's sannyasi disciple in that concentration camp, because they were both from the Allied countries, or no, from the Western, the Axis country, like Germany and Austria. And so he was like the first Caucasian disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta. And this gentleman who wrote the book, he said, my Guru Maharaj, or no, he asked the the sannyasi disciple, and the sannyasi disciple said, the first thing you have to do when you accept a guru is take everything that you've learned, everything that you've seen, everything that you've read, and everything that you've experienced, and put it in a big bag and throw it into the ocean where it's deepest, and then start anew. So that is the instruction. That it kind of blows people's minds. So how can I throw everything away? But that's what we have to do. We can't depend on our own mind. My mind is my worst enemy, and so we just have to depend on Krishna and hear from the devotees, because that's our link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, and great story. My God, in an intense situation like that, now take shelter. Thank you, Shashastakam Prabhu. Anybody else? Sure. Oh, it's like Audie's getting queued up.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes.
Okay, we're praying to Srila Prabhupada what to say. The verses are about reconciliation, confession, and atonement for some deviation. And Lord Brahlam is setting such an incredible example, even though he's completely flawless, that there's a path to citizenship, that even if we've been involved with animal slaughter, abortion, intoxication, whatever we've done, Krishna is so wonderful, and he's providing us a way to clean away those reactions and help us to start again fresh. And that's pretty consoling to remember that no matter who we are, and even if we've been involved in the devotional service, Bhajate Mamananya Bhak, Krishna says to Arjuna in the Bhak, even if you've been involved in the most abominable activity, that person can be considered saintly if he's engaging in devotional service to Krishna. And the Bhagavatam is full with Ajamil fell down, Chitraketu fell down, Chitabhart fell down, Maharaj Parikshit made a mistake, But then, if you listen to the full story, no matter how weird, how fallen, how long, how much deviated a person has been, Krishna will offer us access to a fresh start.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty amazing, huh? Yeah, you can hear me?
Yeah.
And then you mentioned something else. Well, maybe I'll share again later in case anybody wants to say something. I have more to say, but all glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Thank you, Hari Purush Prabhu. Yeah, and thank you for engaging people, setting a good example for us of how to engage people in devotional service. Yeah, because I've met a lot of people who that idea of atonement is also a scary thing, even because then they would have to admit that they made a fault, and to admit that you made a fault is, I don't know if I want to go there. It's all good, they use that word. It's all good. I don't know if I want to admit that, because to have that experience of, what, I really did mess up, or I really did. And that's what actually, that recognition, or that awareness of, what, I have went against my Lord. I have went against the laws of nature. I have went against these things, and let me accept that. Then that's what actually cleanses it. Because sometimes you do the service, or you do but you just don't want to admit that you've done something against the Lord's will. And you don't get the same type of purification when you don't humbly submit yourself, like we're talking about today. It's not, and yeah, it's the Brahmins as the representative of the Lord, going to the Lord and saying, my Lord, I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry. Because in our life, we've experienced that when we've went to somebody and said, I'm sorry, then they might take more advantage of us. But we don't know what Krishna's grace is like. We don't know who this supreme, beautiful person is like, and how that mercy always flows. And Radharani's hand is always raised to allow us to feel that mercy and to let that flow. So yeah, thank you for reminding us of that. Yeah, atonement is there. And through that, then it doesn't have to be the elephant atonement where we get dirty again and just do the same thing. It actually, through service and through hearing these sacred texts, we get to the root of the real problem, which is what we're talking about today: cleaning the envy in the heart, cleansing the envy in the heart, that we're in control, that we're in the center, and get to the root of the thing and be gratefully excited to serve. Shashastakam Prabhu, you re-raised your hand.
Yes, I was thinking about what you said about the atonement and the elephant and bathing. I mean, that's in the first part of the Bhagavatam. Shukadeva Goswami is asked by Parikshit, what's the use of, this atonement if you keep on sinning? So if Balaram is doing atonement by this method, how is that an example? I mean, he's setting an example by listening to the sages. I understand that. But how is this an example for people? This Prayashchitta, this atonement by doing some kind of, activity like penance or whatever. That doesn't work according to the first part of the Bhagavatam. So how is that providing an example for us to follow?
Adi? I think this leads into what you were going to say, no?
Yeah, it's not that atonement is completely useless. It's the first step. But Dr. Schick is right. If we go ahead and rectify our activity and engage in devotional service, then it gets to the root. But first we turn away from our and admit our mistake, confess it, apologize for it, and then the Christian atonement prayer is, Lord, I'm heartily sorry for having offended thee, and I detest all my sins because of the loss of, access to you and the pains of hell, but mostly because I've offended you, Lord, who are all good and worthy of all our love. Therefore, I confess my sins, do penance, and amend my life. If we don't go to the point of amending our life, what's the use of bathing and turning dirt and bathing and turning dirt? But the recommended and the example that Lord Brahma says is going on pilgrimage. Now, in a normal, healthy civilization, people go on pilgrimage. Even, they go to the Ganges to bathe. They go to Vrindavan. They go to Hardware. They go to Vrindavan. They go to Jerusalem. They go to Bodh Gaya, and they go on to a holy place and step away from their life and look at their life from a distance and hear from the sages, hear from the devotees, hear from scripture. And then looking at their life, they get another perspective and understand how I can amend my life. How can I be a better father, a better husband, a better, whatever my role is in society. And then go back into your life and with the vision of how to improve. Now, these days, people don't go on pilgrimage, they go on vacation. They go to Las Vegas to get drunk. They go to New York to go shopping, right? But we are taking care of Krishna's guest program, and people are going on vacation or going away for business. But they're on that phase of stepping out of their life, giving up some of their normal daily activities and normal relationships. And they're at a point where they can look at their life from a distance. And when they come to the guest program, there are books, there are pictures, there's prasadam, there's devotees, there's access to engage in devotional service. And we bring them to the temple, we bring them to the place where they can serve and help distribute Krishna's prasad for the homeless. And they're at a ripe, they're looking for something beyond the horizon of their normal experience. They go to China, they eat Chinese food, they see Chinese buildings, hear Chinese history. So then when they come to the guest program and they see what's there, the inquiry the chemistry is so natural. And it's going on day and night. In the dining room last night, I spoke to somebody from Japan, somebody from Australia, somebody from Colorado, somebody from Spain, somebody from New Zealand, right there. And they're traveling and they're open.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an interesting strategy. Over to Shil Prabhupada.
Imagine you travel from Australia to New York to enjoy, and then you run into Adipurusha Prabhu. What are the chances of running into a person of that caliber?
They're on
Right?
they're on holy
Very well.
pilgrimage. They don't know it. Super
Yeah.
souls inspired.
Yeah,
Oh
they don't
yeah,
know who this person in the apron is. They don't know.
yeah. Come to the banks of the Hudson. Meet this person. Thank you. Very nice. Very nice. Thank you, Adi. Venetia, we got 3 minutes and I gotta jump. Tell me.
Yes, Hare Krishna, Jai Giridhari. So good to see you.
Too.
Question for you about envy, because I always appreciate your common sense approach to these matters. Can you give us any other, you gave us the example that's clear of not bowing down in front of somebody exalted, but any other subtle forms that you've noticed from your own experience that maybe we may not be so aware of? Those more subtle forms of envy.
Oh,
Any teachings there?
do you want like a long laundry list, or do you want just like
I want like the 2-minute list.
I mean, it creeps up everywhere because
Right.
it you'll find it if you're envious if somebody spends more time with the spiritual master. Wait a minute, I want to do that. Basically any of the good qualities, the opposite is a subtle form of envy. Like, we should celebrate when others are moving forward in spiritual life. And if that isn't really there, then we should see that there's still a bunch of envy that's in the heart, because ultimately we're meant to be the servant. So anything against service is envy, and that's a very deep thing. And it's like it can happen almost in every interaction, Venetia. It's actually that's what's so, for me, it's what's so shocking about it, is that it's like, I mean, most of my life is a subtle form of envy. Like, it honestly, I'm not saying that, like, but most of it is because the desire to be, anytime that there's a desire to be in the center, that's like a subtle form of envy. Anytime that we want to step in front of somebody else's progress in any way, shape, or form, that is a subtle form of envy. Anytime that we don't get picked to lead the kirtan, and we go, and there's a part of our heart that goes, hey, why not me? Envy, you know what I mean? You get the ghee lamp last. Hey, what? Last? Envy, because ultimately we're just so tiny and useless. But we can see, instead of focusing on that, we can see that if somebody else gets the ghee lamp first and we get excited, that's good. That's the good stuff. If we see somebody else is excelling in their spiritual life and we just put wind behind their sails, that's the good stuff. I mean, I appreciate you. When you chant japa, I go, my God, she's so, yes, yes, she's so deeply chanting japa. Yes, Venetia, go there. I don't know what you're experiencing, but I want you to experience more, because it's evident, And so whenever you see somebody's good qualities, that's a good antidote to that. All those other little things is like, just fan those flames. And I think that for me has been my strategy, because if I start looking at where I'm envious, it's kind of discouraging, honestly. But when I start looking at other people's good qualities and I try to exemplify or encourage or amplify them, then I know, okay, this is the right state of consciousness to be in. Hope that's
Thank you,
helpful.
Jai Giridhari Prabhu. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you. And thank you so much. I got to run.
Thank
See
you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
guys.
The only way by which we can obtain pure devotional service. Bow down to those we great awe and reverence. By His grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from His lotus mouth. Attachment to His lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates, and by him ignorance is destroyed. Vedic scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, friend of the poor and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame be spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet.
Thank you, Jai Nitai Prabhu. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Okay, this was the class. Krishna Kumari, are you still here? You had your hand up. No, she's not here. Okay. Oh yeah, there she is. Krishna Kumari, please.
I shared on the WhatsApp group Prabhupada's walk. There's 3 of them, a talk from 1973, but yeah, it's the progress of illusion. And I was thinking about what Shastikam Prabhu said and Adi Purush said, you know, and just the idea that, yeah, to get rid of everything, you know, it's like we've been lied to about so many things. Like it's like all a psyops, you know, and you could really, you know, really think about anything that you believe in the Western world and think, oh, that actually might not be true. So I won't give my list. I have a huge list, but I don't want to. But if you all take a moment and just think of the things that we've been told to be true that aren't, it's quite vast. So, and then on a personal note, just like my own, yeah, I've been writing inventory because externally I'm really calm, but inside when I went for a biofeedback machine and like my body's super stressed out inside. So yeah, just taking inventory on resentments and yeah, what my ego holds on to. And so I really appreciated today's class because it just affirms that like I need to make more progress and do more clearing. So thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Krishna Kumari. Jai Giridhari said something very profound, something that really stuck out to me, where if you feel you're being envious, then start appreciating the devotee. Start celebrating them, he said. He used that word, celebrate the Vaishnavas. Right? Isn't that cool? That's really a game changer. The devotees may have talents that you don't have. So what? Why be envious? Why not celebrate that and share the joy? And when we celebrate the devotees, their good qualities get transferred unto us somehow or other. Right? Try it. It's a really wonderful practice. I'm feeling a little stinky on the inside here by looking at this Vaishnava. But still, look at him. He's trying, or she. They are trying. Yeah, why not celebrate that? Everybody's struggling with some. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh, no, sorry to interrupt. I like the word that he used, amplify. That it was,
amplify.
Because celebrate is one thing, which is great. And then thinking of amplification, he was sort of indicating like helping put wind in their sails, like actually helping them.
Yeah. That's even serving them. Yeah, that's even step further. Yeah.
A step further. Yeah, I really like that a lot. Great. It was a great answer.
Yeah, cool. And that's easy. It's easy to apply, easy to comprehend, to understand. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy, as they say in middle school. Okay, let's see. Would anyone like to speak? Maybe you'd like to share a realization or testify or confess your sins, please. We're all full of it, as Arjuna Prabhu once told me. I told him, I'm Arjuna Prabhu, I feel this and that. He said, we're all full of it, Prabhu. We're all full of it. Bhima Prabhu knows what it is that we're full of. Is he here? No. He's shoveling it. Okay.
I don't know if you guys know, I'm a colon hydrotherapist, so I help people.
All right.
Really.
That's interesting.
And actually attached to the colon is the enteric nervous system. And there's more memory cells there than in the brain. So like people really are holding on to stuff and they don't even remember they're holding on to it. But, you know, during a session, they can really like understand why they're feeling the way they are or actually have memories from stuff. But yeah. The Krishna's made our body so amazing. Like everything's connected inside. And yeah.
Interesting. The devotees are so talented in so many areas. It's unbelievable where you can meet a devotee.
Rasagya was my mentor. Great Rasagya. Rasagya. Yeah. She was a Bhaktivedanta player. She would perform for Prabhupada, but she was my mentor in natural health. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Krishna Kumari. Thank you for always sharing very intimately this class.
Ananda Bihari Prabhu, we can't hear you. Or is it just me?
I think it might just be you. Let me just try to hear him.
Yeah, I think, can I be heard? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay. All right, so let's take one more reflection, please. Something in line with Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, something pertinent, or a personal testimony. We got testimony about colonoscopy. That was pretty intimate. Doesn't get any more intimate than that.
That's the thing. The Westerners think colonoscopy and colonics are the same, but they're completely different. But that's, yeah.
Okay. Venetia, you're unmuted.
Oh no, I didn't mean to be unmuted. I think you're out of your depth here, I was gonna say. Ananda Bihari.
Yeah. Annabelle, where is Isaiah? How far is he from saying?
Where's our camera? Put the camera on. Put our camera on. Where's our
Put the camera on. Yeah. We see you guys. Hare Krishna.
Is your speaker?
Nice, Isaiah. Loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you, family. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Have a wonderful day. Happy Tuesday. Give it to Krishna and come again tomorrow for another day in Lord Chaitanya's movement.